Final SB Nation editorial internship candidate Jason Jones, Joe Patrick, DSS.
Go vote for
managing
Sam.
editor, right here, live from a Noonan Carrabba's.
Have we been to Carrabba's yet?
No, it's
Man,
England.
feeling Italian. It was Italian night tonight in the press box.
I guess it was. It was also a big night for Atlanta United. Because Joe,
Yeah.
5 strikes back. 5 strikes back again. 5 strikes
We've been saying this.
very back.
We've been saying that they're back.
For a few weeks now. But for real, 5 strikes back. Atlanta United absolutely controls the game. Not quite from the outset, maybe, but from about the 5th minute on, Atlanta United very much in control of everything that goes down here tonight. It ended 2-0. It could have very easily been more. Toronto FC 0. Big old bagel. Shots on target. Atlanta United with 19 shots total. That is just, it's pretty much a thumping. It could have been much, much worse. A couple of those hit the post. Tito had a few chances that were really solid. PT had a couple of chances that were really solid. But in the end, Joseph Martinez to assist. Tito gets the first goal. Gressel gets the second. And all in all, Atlanta United continues to look like a team that is moving towards a higher level, moving towards a place where they can
Almost a godlike place
among
MLS.
deified air. Right, yeah. Right now it's LAFC and everyone else, but Atlanta United is slowly creeping up.
Have we surpassed Texas? Is what I want to know.
We on the backometer, I think Atlanta United is definitely more back than Texas.
Yeah, I agree.
Horns down. Horns down. But Joe, no, like I said, LAFC is on a different level right now. Especially if you're looking at expected goal differential, everything like that. But once they start to regress and we keep moving up, I think there's a chance that this is a team moving towards being the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Once again, and it's very apparent right now.
Right, and the thing with LAFC is we don't know what they're going to be by the end of this. By the time the playoffs come around. I mean, hell, Atlanta United looked terrible 6 weeks ago, and now they look like a totally different team. So things can change pretty drastically in MLS, especially when you're in a league that's driven by, like, every team has 2 or 3 star players essentially that's driving the team.
Sure.
And so if LAFC were to lose a player like Carlos Vela, that would damage them greatly. So who knows what it's going to be like? But I think right now we have to start looking at Atlanta United again as like a true contender for they're probably too far back for Supporter Shield, but I mean, again, who knows what's going to happen in that race? But I think when you talk about an MLS Cup playoff, Atlanta United's going to be in that conversation right now.
Absolutely, we're already above the line, sitting in 6th place above Orlando. Hi Orlando City. Way down there. And that's going to continue. They're just going to keep getting better. It's almost been somewhat of a linear progression. I mean, you can really kind of go game by game and see. You can definitely see a bump in the road. That Colorado game it still makes me want to just tear my eyeballs out and imagine I never ever saw it. But from then on, straight up, it feels like I said, this is progressing towards something that's it's really solid. I think it's maybe at about like a 65% full throttle. There's still a ways to go. Franco will tell you that. I think the rest of the team will tell you that. But there is a comfort level there that has allowed this team to look aggressive, allowed this team to look sharp, and now they understand what they're doing. And when they're making movements, they're making them with a purpose. They're making them with an understanding that what they're doing is part of a greater sum. And that's really scary for the rest of the league.
That's right, part of the greater good. By the way, if you guys have questions or comments, whatever, please put them in the chat comments. I don't know what this thing is called. I'm not good at the internet, but leave us stuff. I've got it on the side here so we can see. I'm gonna jump right to Lorenowitz man, because I think a Lorenowitz man, really that we've seen in the last couple games, Franco Escobar. I feel like his reintroduction into the team has really changed a lot of what Atlanta wants to do and what Atlanta is capable of doing, especially in the press. I think he just gives you so much more solidity on that right side. He gives you the pace. He gives you the recovery speed. When you're playing a guy like Michael Parkhurst out there, like kind of like an auxiliary right back. He kind of has to stay deep, and it doesn't allow the team to kind of do all the things that it wants to do. Like I said, with the press especially, that was most evident in Sporting Kansas City. I thought Franco Escobar just pushed all the way up the field. And there was actually one time tonight where he was pushed up doing that, and they actually exploited him.
There was like a 5-minute period where Franco Escobar was going to go over the opposite of Lorenowitz man, the McCann man of the night. He got called out that one time from then on. Like Joe said, he's been really, really solid. And like you said, it allows us to do some things differently. He's so athletic.
Yeah.
I think we forget that a lot with Franco, is that he is extremely, extremely fast, especially in straight line speed. But he's also very, very physical.
Let's get right to Connor's question.
Okay.
Because I want to get to questions, and if you guys have questions, send them in. He refers to the new guy, who is Justin Meram, and he says basically, like, what the hell is he doing here? Is he going to? Is he good? Is he? What is he? Is he going to be a depth piece? Is he going to be rested? There to help other players rest? I mean, I think he's going to be. I actually think he's going to be quite vital. Maybe not vital. Vital.
Strong word.
That's not the right word. But I think he's going to get regular playing time. I think he's going to be a guy like you saw in Dion Pereira come on for the last like 10 minutes or so in the game tonight. I think Justin Meram's a guy who you can bring onto the wing. And give some of those players a spell, because those players, those attacking players, those are the guys that run out of energy first, because they're making the most sprints in every game. So I was actually surprised that Pity Martinez went 90 minutes tonight, just because you don't typically see those players going the entire length of the game.
Frank had a quote about that and said, I went ahead and let him do that because he was essentially playing so well. Sometimes you've got to get used to playing 90 minutes as he slowly kind of comes back from injury. I kind of get what he's saying, but as always, it's Frank. What does he mean when he says words? Joe Patrick.
we were just lamenting about this, trying to transcribe him over in the press box. I think he also wanted to leave Petit in the game to see if he could get a goal or an assist. I think that it's quite clear to the team that they really need to kind of get him off the schneid. He doesn't have either so far this season. And it's tough because he played so well tonight. Back to Meram. He was in the locker room. We were denied an opportunity to speak with him.
Only with Parker, so I think that Columbus connection is maybe his only real connection right now.
But he looked happy. He was already buddying up with a lot of players. He was chit-chatting with everybody. So looks like a good dude. I think he's going to talk Friday. It sounds like that's the plan. Yeah. So that'll be nice right before Orlando.
He's 30 years old. I mean, he's not going to cost a ton. I don't think. I don't think he's going to cost a ton. I'm assuming Atlanta United is well aware of how he would impact them financially. It should be okay. And we'll find out soon. Salaries come out in the next couple weeks. It's like Christmas for us.
Yeah.
But we definitely didn't get worse with Justin Meram.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a quality, experienced player. A. Ray says I was all for ATL becoming the Ajax of MLS, but they blew it today. Who blew it? Ajax did. That's right. Yes, they did.
And don't let any of this distract you from the fact that Barcelona blew a 3-goal lead. We'll talk more about that later. We do have a lot of questions here on the 5 Stripe Final mentions as well. Go ahead and follow us at 5 Stripe Final if you get a chance. A lot of questions here about Brek Shea. People are being really, really hard on Brek tonight. Probably Brek's best game in Atlanta. Guys, we gotta, I don't know.
He created lots of chances.
He did.
Lots of chances.
Amazingly,
somehow
there were 6 chances in the first half created by Atlanta United. Brek Shea created 3.
I believe that a created chance means that he passed to a player who shot. So
that's all that really means. So you don't take too much.
I mean, he did give us the highlight of the night though, which was his enormous whiff of a shot, which I think ended in laughter from most of the
entire press box, and then with someone behind us who we didn't entirely know spoke multiple languages, saying, "At least he's trying." At least he's trying the Brek Shea story.
Yeah.
He's continuing. Parker, can we just flat out say Parker is a better option right now?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think he is.
I think it is. I'm not
like
sure.
When he came into the game, I was like, okay, we're safe over there. We're safe.
I don't know. The touches aren't there. The creativity's not there. I mentioned this to Joe during the game. He plays like someone not in his body should play. Like he plays against what his body should be doing. There are times when he should be using his long legs to just straight line sprint and create disruption in the back line, do anything like that. Instead,
that's not what he does
slows
at all.
Down and kind of patters his feet, and then he goes to the top of the box and spins around and closes his eyes and takes a big old whiff at the ball and just misses real damn bad. Brek's not the answer right now. Look at that.
Yeah. Edgar Ochoa says we're finally getting dangerous on free kicks, which is nice. I agree with that sentiment completely. I think Pity Martinez is only a matter of time before he starts making every single one.
He's so close. Now, I think a big thing right now is as soon as that first one goes in, I think it's going to be a weight off his shoulders. I think the floodgates are going to open at that point. We're getting closer and closer to seeing the PD we thought we were getting. And tonight was his best game since he got to Atlanta. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, creating chances and just hitting the Y button, y'all. Y button, through ball after through ball after through ball, and breaking the lines, which has been huge. For Atlanta United, this kind of progression towards becoming something bigger, something better. The line breaking passes tonight from whether it was Darlington going through the midfield to that second level or that final level, or Rapidi coming through and playing through balls from behind were excellent. Him and Darlington especially, just the interplay between them. There was one tonight where I think we were all just sitting there with our mouths open. We couldn't figure out what really to do or say about it. It was just beautiful the way they were working together.
Darlington, I feel like, has not put a foot wrong in like several games running. He's just like he's everywhere.
Right.
He's everywhere you want him to be.
Rhythms, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There were multiple times tonight where it could have been a disaster, but Darlington somehow regained possession and kept things going. And again, no shots on target for Toronto FC. Did I mention that? It's pretty awesome.
A Ray says, "Are we back? We won 3 of the last 4, but these opponents have been less than full strength. Thoughts? When can I finally tell the DeBoer haters they have always been wrong?" Well, you're talking to the guy. I don't know. Lights just turned on behind us. I'm sick of the whole Sporting Kansas City was missing half their squad. Toronto is missing Josie Altidore. Every player, every team is missing players almost. It's probably very rare that you would when you play a team that has every single player. Yeah, we've missed players all season. It's just.
I do want to say for the people being like, yeah, screw you, FTB out people. Obviously, those people took it to a place that it probably never should have been. But there were legitimate criticisms in the beginning. I don't think there should be revisionist history about that. There were legitimate criticisms.
Sure.
At the very beginning of this, and the patience exercised by people who were able to see those criticisms and are now seeing a better team. I think that's totally fair.
I don't even like the argument because it's just an argument that pits one side versus another, and there's no reason to have that kind of fraction within the fan base. There's no reason to have a DeBoer out. There's no reason to have these two sides. I mean, you can acknowledge something as being poor, which I think we've done on this show,
sure.
But we also kind of caveated it with saying all the excuses.
Sure, maybe not even excuses, but
they were
silver linings. Sights towards what we're seeing now.
Gressel said it tonight. He was like, "Guys, we just needed time. I've been saying this. Once we get on the same page, we would be fine." And you see it. The mood in the locker room is so much different than it was earlier in the season. And I thought it was interesting. Frank DeBoer mentioned when they had kind of a team meeting. I think 5 or 6 weeks ago. He said, I think it was basically after that stretch. That early stretch in the season where they had 1 million games in 27 days or whatever, where then they sat down, they had a players and coaches meeting. It wasn't I don't think it was
a closed door thing.
Yeah, it wasn't anything dramatic like that, but it was just time for them to put their heads together and really focus on some things in training over a couple of weeks, and it seems like that has been the real turning point for this team.
Sure, and Joe, I want to put this out here because it's a thought that's been kind of weighing on me since last week. I think the final form of this Atlanta United team, the one we're seeing right now, is a Sporting Kansas City, Peter Verbeek's kind of side with way more talent, right? That possession kind of oriented, putting up a ton of shots, but with players who can really, really make things happen that aren't Daniel Shalvey or whoever the hell, right? So that's scary to me. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see it.
I think one thing we mentioned on our recent podcast, by the way, this one will not go out as a podcast, but we will do a podcast for next Monday. And if you don't subscribe to our podcast, search Dirty South Soccer on your podcatchers, whatever, you can get us. But we talked about how one of the hallmarks of this system, which I love people use that word system. It's like we're running a NFL scheme here. But I think one of the hallmarks of it is Joseph Martinez's role, and we saw it tonight. He had 2 assists, and he's just playing a lot more with his back to goal, trying to link up play. I think we saw the perfect illustration of it tonight. I think we noticed it against Sporting Kansas City, and the passes just weren't kind of coming off at the very end. for him sometimes. But tonight, I mean, I thought he was great, even though he didn't score, obviously. But especially on the first goal, it would have been so easy. He collected the ball in the box right behind us, actually, and it would have been so easy for him to just keep his head down, run to the ball, and then just bang it near post or where he thinks near post. Who is that?
I have no idea, but I love him.
Oh my gosh, someone's doing a photo shoot at midfield.
It is a large human. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's amazing.
he's doing poses and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
Good times.
Anyway, and then so it would have been so easy for Joseph Martinez to just pop a shot there and try to score. Instead, he picked up his head. He took just a split second of time to kind of assess the situation and realize I can just put this ball right back into the middle. And if one of my teammates doesn't get it, it's probably going to go off one of the opposition players, one of the Toronto players, and that's exactly what happened. Well, his teammate did get it.
I think for both of us, we've always kind of believed that Joseph had that ability, like kind of that weird kind of intermediary false nine kind of deal that really works in Frank's system, and I think he's getting there.
Yeah.
I think that tonight was a great example. If he is the assist guy for this team, with his back to goal and letting everyone else kind of run forward out ahead of him, that's fine by me. He's good enough to do it.
What type of newborn animal did Brek Shea look like? Fawn, dole, or calf? I don't know what a dole is.
Full, I think that's
Oh, yeah, no. I don't know.
Not a calf.
I did hear in the press box somebody called him a drunk giraffe.
Someone from a well-reputed newspaper too, not even a blog.
Shame.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, we were all poking fun at him.
Oh yeah, it's not like
drunk giraffe.
Like I tweeted like 5 things, including a Bambi gift. So I guess the answer is fawn.
Yeah, there you go.
Good work, everybody.
But so at the beginning of the season, when I first ever interviewed him in a press scrum, I said he's a horse. The guy's a horse.
Yeah.
He's just huge, and I said at the time you just totally see why coaches would salivate just seeing like his physical nature and what they could possibly do with him as a soccer player. But now it's like, yeah, he is like a newborn baby horse, and Tito is a different horse. Tito's also a horse because he has like blood vessels running up his quads. Like it's insane. I think I don't want to speculate on what kinds of.
Joe got super into the Kentucky Derby the other day, guys. I don't know what's going on.
They VAR'd it.
They
so annoying.
VER'd it. Video equine review. Joe Patrick. Let me see. I think it's interesting to talk about Tito tonight. I think someone in the chat is bringing up Barco. Right now, someone says Tito is Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, which I'm totally stealing because that's phenomenal. Thank you for that. But Tito tonight was very, very good, and we had the concerns about Zeke leaving and where like kind of the connections were going to come. I thought this was one of Tito's sharpest games as well. It came really close to having a brace. Tito's Stallion of the Cimarron.
So someone asked Frank DeBoer in the post-game press conference, like, what makes Tito special or
Wait,
whatever.
Real quick, I had a Frank DeBoer moment in the press conference where me and him locked eyes, and for some reason he did not look away, and I kept looking, and I was like, I can't lose this, right? But then I started laughing, right? And I couldn't laugh.
Yeah, right.
Frank DeBoer during this press conference, and so I just had to bite my cheeks, and I think he saw my soul. So he probably has lots of ill-placed words to say about that. Anyway,
so I thought it was funny. He was talking about Tito, and he said that like someone asked, like, oh, like what's so great about Tito is, blah blah blah. Trying to get him to say something really positive, and he was trying to say something positive, but in classic Frank DeBoer style, while he's trying to say something positive, he's like, well, he's unpredictable. You never know what he's going to do. It was just like, it kind of was like, there was like subliminal messaging under it as to like why he hasn't been playing. But also you could spin that into as like a way that he confuses the defense.
Sure, there is good Tito and bad Tito, I think, in some guys.
For sure. Oftentimes you get good Tito and bad Tito in the same game.
Sure.
Same half. And I think that's pretty much what Frank DeBoer was talking about.
Yeah. Again, he's not wrong. He just says it in a different way than we meant. What was I gonna
Let me just keep going with questions. Big hypothetical: if Barco performs well at the U20s and the team performs well without him, would Barco come back as a starter? Champagne problems. I think he's definitely a starter.
He's a starter as well. I agree, especially with Frank's comments on Tito tonight.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, just the fact it will be interesting to follow his performances at the World Cup because like the U20 World Cup is like one of the events for like scouts to come in and try to like evaluate who these new guys are. So very important for his career to have a good performance in this tournament, as is every player who's going. It's just a huge opportunity for them to be in front of a ton of eyeballs, a ton of important eyeballs. Like you can be in front of a lot of eyeballs on big televised games and stuff, but it's very important for in these youth tournaments where there's going to be scouts. That's what helps a player's career. So
Sure.
very important for Ezequiel Barco to perform well in the U20 World Cup.
All right.
And I think he's going to be a starter regardless.
Yeah. Cool. That's all we got. I think keep an eye out in the podcatchers, so we'll have stuff coming to you. We even have a special show coming your way
We do?
in a few weeks because, folks, the five. We need an
The
import.
nation?
What?
Is that what you're talking about? Like
No. The five stripe derby for now is what we'll say. Is going to be the biggest five stripe derby of them yet. As Ajax blew through the league, and then Barcelona blew a 3-goal lead, and now our two teams are in the Champions League final. And you didn't need to know that, but we're really excited about it. We may put a show out about that. But anyway, we'll have plenty of stuff coming to you throughout the week. On DirtySouthSoccer.com, go follow Joe Patrick at Patrick200. Go follow, well, don't follow me, actually at SB Nation and tell them to give me the editorial internship at J_Sam Jones.
Again, that's at SB Nation, and just mention editorial internship.
And then call them
Jones.
cowards.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Love y'all. That'll do it here from Five Stripe Final. We will catch y'all next time.